For my book review, I went on the recommendation of my personal mentor, Dr. Robert Pimentel from Fresno City College. He's been my mentor throughout the entire doctoral program in educational leadership here at CSU Bakersfield, so I highly respect his opinion. So I was excited to check out his recommendation, The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma, a modern fable about real success in business and in life. Now, I didn't know a whole lot about Robin Sharma, to be honest, in the beginning, so it was interesting to learn that he has over 15 years experience in teaching these techniques to Fortune 500 companies like Microsoft, GE, Nike, and IBM. And the success formulas he teaches in this book and many others, to be honest, as well as his podcast, has made him one of the most highly sought after leadership advisors in the world. Now, the book itself is very user-friendly. It has about 200 pages. You can get through it in an afternoon. It's not textbooky at all. It's told in a story format that's entertaining. And the underlying goal of these techniques is to help bring out the genius level work in everyone, regardless of your position in any organization. The 8 strategies that are discussed throughout the book help bring the individual, and both in the story and the reader, from being busy and being able to achieve major life goals, and how easy it is to do that, and just changing some simple mindsets. The transformational leadership lessons that are conveyed in all 4 of the conversations are easily applicable regardless of your industry or field. I particularly found the second conversation being how turbulent times create great leaders to be especially impactful for me. The strategies, especially in that lesson, talk about how to become mentally tougher and physically strong enough to lead in your field at times of great change, very similar to what we're experiencing in the educational field now. It provides practical ways to defeat stress and create an unbeatable mindset for leadership and success. Now, the story is told through the fictional characters of Blake Davis and Tommy Flynn. The book opens up on Blake Davis, who's a veteran who's struggling to integrate back into civilian society. Outside of struggling from PTSD, he also is really struggling transitioning from the rigid formal structure of the military, title driven, to how civilian life is not quite that way, and how to interact. So he is hanging on to his job early one afternoon when he is interrupted by the fictional Tommy Flynn, a affable but goofy looking older gentleman with a Mickey Mouse handkerchief and a SpongeBob watch. And originally Blake doesn't take Tommy too seriously, but quickly finds out that Tommy is actually one of the top salesmen in the business, has been offered VP jobs many times. However, he's turned them down because he just enjoys his position, makes really good money, but has found this passion for life that Blake has found that he's missing. And so Tommy takes Blake through an afternoon of amazing transformational conversations, meeting different teachers who share with him how to integrate these lessons into his daily life. Now, the underlying message in this book is that there is a leadership potential in every single person, that you do not need to wait for a title to be bestowed upon you to have the power to make change in your organization or your community. Titles themselves do give a level of power, managing director, for example, but a title given can be taken away, and thus with the title taken away, so too can the power. And you don't need that to make change. And these techniques and these conversations explain how you can do that breaking these negative mindsets and narratives, really taking the victim mindset out of the workplace and transforming it into a leadership mindset. And he does this brilliantly through the 4 conversations. The first one being about that you need no title to be a leader. Second conversation focuses on how turbulent times build great leaders. Third conversation talks about the deeper your relationships, the stronger the leadership. And the fourth conversation, to be a great leader, requires first becoming a great person. So let's dig a little bit deeper into these conversations now and reflect a little bit more on where they're applicable to us in our career. Now we're going to delve a little bit deeper into these 4 conversations that the author uses as his vehicle to teach both the fictional character Blake, but also the reader, the techniques in order to implement these tools into our daily lives, both in our career and our personal lives. Now, one of the things the author really focuses on is this idea of living a full life and the cost of mediocrity. So when our fictional hero Blake is first introduced to Tommy's initial lesson, he is introduced to this in the setting of a cemetery. Tommy is standing in front of 2 open graves and asks Blake to look into each one of them. The bottom of the first grave, he finds a tablet inscribed with the 10 greatest regrets of human life. I've listed 5 of them for you here. Ultimately, what the tablet is talking about is not letting that song in your heart be sung, not taking those risks that we want in order to achieve those great rewards, not ever really inspiring people, going to our grave realizing that there was so much more that we could do and now we're out of time. In the second grave, there was a golden tablet with all of the great rewards of human life, and they were actually the converse of the original of the regrets, and again focused on the importance of living a full and complete life. Now, the author uses acronyms again as his vehicle in which to impart this knowledge. Although it may seem kind of silly at first, the tool with the acronyms are very clear. The stories allow you to kind of visualize how to implement these both within your own world, but also how you could do them implement them within your field. LWT, lead without title, comes up really early in the book. It's actually what intrigues Blake to converse with Tommy and actually go to this cemetery, because Tommy won't tell him what it stands for unless he commits to going through the afternoon of meeting with the teachers. Again, as we go into each conversation a little further, we'll talk about each acronym. But what's nice about the book is that at the end of each section or each conversation, there is an activity that would allow you to take action now and practice and implement these techniques, and we're going to do one at the end of this video. So the first conversation focuses on the idea that you need no title to be a leader, and the acronym in this scenario is IMAGE. It's important to be innovative. We need to create growth daily through innovation, both in our personal lives and in our career. We must commit to mastery of our trade and do that through constant and continual improvement. Reading, classes, learning, things like that are very important. Being authentic and trustworthy to ourselves, but also to those around us. Having the guts in order to face adversity, to try to take those challenges and reap the rewards that come from taking those challenges, and being ethical, knowing who we are, knowing what's right, and sticking to our values. The second conversation that Blake has focuses on the idea of turbulent times creating great leaders. The acronym SPARK here is used, in which the author talks about speaking candidly, openly, and often, prioritizing, focusing on what's best and ignoring the rest. The idea that adversity creates opportunity, and it's really your mindset when it comes to these obstacles that either becomes the barrier or not. The obstacle is what it is. It's there whether you like it or not, but how you face it, whether you respond to it or react to it, is the key. And it's important to give kudos to those around us and give yourself praise, but also make sure that people feel appreciated. The third conversation talks about the deeper your relationships, the stronger you are as a leader. HUMAN is the acronym used here, and talking about helpfulness. What do you contribute both to the world, to your job, to your family? It's important to understand what's going on with those around you through listening more than speaking. The 80-20 rule is used a lot here. Mingling, getting out and meeting people, getting out of your office, making a phone call, being amusing and engaging, having fun, nurturing people to succeed is important. And he closes out the conversation with the idea that to be a great leader, you must first become a great person. And here he's talking about the idea of you need to be able able to see clearly. A lot of times we have our personal biases that affect what we perceive as reality, and we need to be able to check that. It's important both for our research, but also in leadership as a whole. Our personal physical health is also something that matters. You need to eat right, have enough sleep. In order to think clearly and be healthy, you can make the right choices. It's important to have inspiration, so be around people that inspire you, read and consume things that help nurture that inspiration within you. Neglect not your family and your friends. Those relationships are very, very important. And of course, you want to elevate your lifestyle. You want to live and enjoy and love what you do, because that's what all of the greats actually do. Now, let's go into a bit of the reflection part of the assignment, which was to talk about really what resonated with us. And for me, it was the second conversation, how turbulent times create great leaders. Now, he talks about great candor, and I think that is really important, especially as we navigate these new terrains of distance learning and reality is, as educational leaders, there will always be new policies, always new obstacles. And the thing that is most important is that we're honest and open with our students, ourselves, and our parents, and in order to be able to be effective. Now, it's important to prioritize. I mean, especially now, there's so many different factors and trainings and ideas, but we need to focus on why we're here and what our main goals are. Adversity actually does breed opportunities, and it is really important to think about the opportunities that are presented to us now with distance education, the technology, the training, the things that we are able to learn and what we'll be able to do for our students in the future. There are equity issues with distance education, but at the same time, there are equity opportunities as well. And it's important that we are happy with ourselves and give ourselves kudos, because you know what, it has been a tough time, but we're going through it. We're learning. At the end of this, our skill sets are even better, and our students will be better for it once we master this. But it's important for us to give ourselves rewards. So one of the most important things that I took from this is these quotes and this idea that all of the fears that are chaining our progress as leaders and as a person have nothing to do with anything in reality but the lies that we have sold ourselves. And the author talks about the importance of stopping investing in those and and really investing in ourselves. I listed here several quotes that I thought resonated with me and might resonate with you in that regard. But life is too small to not play it big. Now, I really liked this slide here where it talks about what the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls a butterfly. And so to close out, I'd like to do a leadership activity with us. Like I said, each chapter and each conversation closes out with a quick and easy to do activity so you can implement these techniques now and today. And I love the quote, "Change is always messy in the middle." And so the activity that we're going to do is on Leadership Conversation 2, Turbulent Times Build Great Leaders. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is first click the link here, and you'll be taken to a Google Drive, Google Doc, and there'll be 3 instructions. I'm going to ask you to write the single biggest opportunity that can lead to positive change in your organization or your personal life. List one reason that is holding you back, and then finally 3 of the most rewarding things that will come from completing this goal. If you click the link here, please complete that, and we will share out